This is a UFC Vegas 107 recap featuring Blanchfield versus Barber, or perhaps not so much because, yeah, this fight didn't happen. Macy Barber wasn't medically cleared to walk out. Last minute, no real explanation yet, but it was announced right before the walkouts. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my first instinct was to joke about it, which is what I did. I even tweeted something saying she probably had to take an emergency shit before walking out. And hey, let's be real, we can't rule that out. Could have been stomach issues, diarrhea, nerves, whatever. But technically, those things can count as medical disqualifiers. They haven't disclosed the real reason yet, but honestly, the last minute cancellation might have been more interesting than the actual fight would have been. Just saying. And then next we had Matthias Gamrot, apologize, versus Ludovic Klein. And Gamrot did exactly what most of us expected. He wrestled Klein to death. He controlled him the entire fight with takedowns. There were a few stand up exchanges, but nothing meaningful. It was clear Gamrot wasn't looking to knock Klein out. He was just staying alert, picking his shots here and there, but mainly hunting for takedowns. And Klein, on the other hand, had no answer for the wrestling. Even when he had opportunities on the feet, he didn't capitalize. And especially in the third round, if you know you're down 2 rounds and the fight's still standing, you'd think he'd just go all out. Throw the kitchen sink, empty the tank. But he didn't. No urgency, no desperation, nothing. Almost like he was just content to lose the decision. And then we had next Ramiz Brahima versus Billy Ray Golf. This one was wild, but in a way that just Ramiz just dominated the fight. It was wild in that way because of the odds. Ramiz subbed Billy Ray Golf easily, and that's what makes this so confusing. Billy was like a minus 400, 500 favorite. For what? What did the odd makers see? What did we miss? Because that was not a competitive fight. I fell for it too, and I'm still trying to figure out why. So perhaps this was a setup from the odd makers, and I got fooled. Next, we got Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. Man, Jacoby came through with a clean round one knockout. This version of him looks way different than I remember. Maybe it depends on the opponent. Like against Khalil Roundtree, he was a technical striker, and in that fight, he should have gotten the win, but he got robbed. But now he's mixing that technical skill with pressure and early fight aggression, and I'm liking this new Jacoby. He's way more dangerous. Next, we have. Let me do this one quick. Do not disturb. Sorry. Next, we have Caitlin Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. And not much to say here, but I mean, there's always something to say. I mean, I'm trying to pick these fights to win big parlays, so there's always something to take from every fight. But here, Caitlin got the decision win, and I think the result was fair. But the odds were close. I thought Macy was gonna win, and she was a slight favorite. But based on what happened in the cage, there's no complaints, and I guess I agree with Caitlin. Just did a bit more than Chiasson did. And then we had Zach Reese. I'm not gonna lie. Zach Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. I was kind of buzzed during this one, and I didn't even realize the fight was going until the end of round 3. So I had to go back and rewatch it. And Zachary got the win, but from what I watched, it didn't look like the kind of performance you'd expect from someone trying to make a name in the UFC. It seemed close, a little bit too close. And just in general, my impression was that Zacharias is, you know, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. If you can't go out there and KO Dusko in round one, then you're just gonna end up being another Dusko in the near future. If you know what I mean, then you know. Then we had Alan Nascimento versus Rafael Filho. Now this was a pretty close fight overall, but Alan Nascimento got the win. And what really cost Rafael Filho was the little mistakes, especially in dominant positions. He had the back, he had control, and then he'd just lose position. He let these moments slip away, and that's what ultimately gave Allen the edge. It wasn't that Allen was wildly dominant, it's just that Filho handed over opportunities. But fair play to him. And then next we had... Next we had Jordan Levitt versus Kurt Holloway. And I'll admit, I misread this one bad. I thought Jordan Levitt would be a bit of a layup, even against an older fighter like Kurt Holloway. But Levitt came out strong. He went straight for a takedown and almost had like a slam. I guess it probably counts as a slam. It didn't look like it was nice. Probably hurt. And then after that, he was able to secure a quick submission. So I was super impressed, and I got to give credit where it was due. And then we had Balaji Oakley versus Michael Aswell. Now this fight went as expected, with Oki winning. But honestly, considering the huge gap in the odds, his performance didn't really match the hype. Michael Aswell was moving up in weight and up a division to take this fight, and he still gave Oki some real moments. Even though he was getting hit, Aswell stayed in the fight and made Balaji Oki work. That's probably why Oki didn't go hunting for a finish. It just wasn't going to be that easy. So overall, like I said, went as expected, but gives me concern for Oki's next fight, especially assuming he's going to be fighting someone in his own natural weight division. Then, last but not least, technically the first fight of the night, we had Elise Ardeline versus Ryan Dos Santos. So, Elise Ardeline pulled off the upset as a 2-1 underdog. And Dos Santos looked solid in the first minute. But after that, it was back and forth. Ardeline clearly had the edge. She looked like the tougher fighter, landing the cleaner, heavier shots. But in the end, both were bloodied up. But it felt like Elise earned that win, and I'm not mad at that. And just to go over this canceled and fizzled bout section, the main event, Barbara was not medically cleared but there was no reasoning given. I have not heard one yet. It's right after the fight. We don't need to go over this, but those were the results of the fight. I got cooked. I didn't win any long shot parlays. Let me know if you won some money. Let me know how you won it. You went off your own bets. Did you go off of some other YouTubers' bets? Some other cappers' bets? Let me know what's up. But other than that, next week, O'Malley versus Merab 2. I'm going to be looking to make a comeback. I had 2 really strong weekends in a row. 9 out of 11. 10 out of 12. It was good weeks. Close weeks to getting that perfect parlay. And then this week I just totally did a, Macy Barber. Just totally shit. So I'm gonna try and make a comeback next week. Good luck to everyone, and drop down in the comments if you want some money. If you like my video, go ahead and hit the like button, share it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And see you all probably in a couple days with a different type of video.